Good tidings to everybody. How are you? The present vehicle is an Alfa Romeo MiTo. The Alfa Romeo MiTo is a front-wheel drive, 3-entryway super mini planned by Centro-style Alfa Romeo and introduced in 2008 at Castello Sforgesco in Milan with a worldwide presentation at the English Engine Show in 2008. Alfa Romeo reported MiTo as the authority name, a portmanteau of Milano, Milan, and Torino, Turin, since it was planned in the previous and was gathered in the last option. The name is likewise a play on the Italian word mito, signifying fantasy or legend. At its send-off, the MiTo highlighted low uprooting turbocharged petroleum and diesel motors. MiTo got a new electro-water-driven valve control framework for multi-air motors in September 2009. Multi-air motors will build power and force, as well as a significant decrease in utilization levels and CO2 emanations of particulates and NOx. This new motor is accessible with 104 bhp, 133 bhp, and 168 bhp power appraisals. All multi-air renditions have a beginning-stop framework as standard. In October 2009 was disclosed a double-fuel MiTo form. This variant can run with LPG, condensed oil gas, or petroleum. With this motor, MiTo has a scope of 1,200 kilometers. The LPG rendition is made in a joint effort with Landi Renzo. In the mid-year of 2010, Alfa presented the double-dry grip transmission called Alfa TCT, for example, twin grip transmission. From model year 2011, the beginning stop framework came as standard on all variants. The MiTo's drive falls between these estimations, the least being 78 GP and the most noteworthy, 170 GP. Alfa Romeo MiTo estimates 4,063 mm long, 1720 in width, and 1,446 mm in level. Mileage figures are between 3.4 L100 km and 8.1 L100 km, with diesel variations for the most part being the more effective choices. The Alfa Romeo MiTo is the littlest vehicle that the organization sells in the UK. Even though it's a similar size as a Passage Celebration or Vauxhall Corsa, the Alfa is a more costly, high-eminence vehicle that is an option in contrast to any semblance of the Audi A1 and smaller than expected. The MiTo depends on affiliated business Fiat's Punto, yet, as is much of the time the case with Alfa's vehicles, the way into its allure is what it looks like. From the exemplary grille to the offset number plate, this is a vehicle that could barely be more unmistakable, while the different pieces of chrome enumerating make it look truly savvy. Models higher up the reach look significantly more restrictive, and assuming that there is an analysis, it's that the MiTo doesn't permit similar open doors for personalization as, say, the smaller than usual. It's just as polished inside, and unquestionably a move forward over the more standard other options. The plan includes loads of circles, most perceptibly on the instruments and air vents, yet the materials are fairly dim and more present-day choices feel better caliber. A portion of the switches are difficult to reach as well, yet essentially, the variety touchscreen for the infotainment framework is sensibly simple to utilize. On the secondary lounge, space for heads and legs is limited, yet 2 or 3 grown-ups on more limited excursions can be in all actuality agreeable, and 2 youngsters will be fine. After all other options have been exhausted, you actually might fit 3 adolescents in, were it not for the way that there are just 2 safety belts toward the back. There are no bad things to say about the driving position, as both the driver's seat and guiding wheel have a lot of change, and anybody in the front seats will have sufficient space except if they're above and beyond 6 feet tall. The MiTo Quadrifoglio Verde, Green Lucky Charm, has generally been the most noteworthy line of Alfa Romeo models. The vehicle adaptation of MiTo was introduced at the 2009 Frankfurt Engine Show. The QV variant, has the new 1.4 liters, 1,368cc Super Multi-Air inline-4 motor, 170 PS, 125 kilowatts, 168 GP, at 5,500 revolutions per minute and 250 Nm of force at 2,500 revolutions per minute, with recently designed suspension, directing, and new 6-speed C635 gearbox created by Fiat Powertrain Innovations, FPT. Its particular result of 124 PS for every litre was the most noteworthy in its fragment around then. The new multi-air innovation permits fuel utilization of 6 litres for every 100 kilometres in EU consolidated driving and CO2 emanations of 139 G per kilometre. QV had greater 305 mm front brake circles and elite 18 inches composite wheels as standard and sabled carbon fiber-supported container seats as a choice. From 2014, QV was presently accessible with TCT robotized gearbox, which cut down the 0 to 100 km/h time to 7.3 s. With the 2016 facelift, QV was renamed as Veloce. That is all there is to it for now. Remember to like the video and buy into the channel. Drop your contemplations in the remark area. Farewell.